Village of Oxford Downtown Development Authority meeting of November 21st, 2022. The time is 7 o'clock. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Catherine Colvin, if you'd kindly check in our attendance, please.
Dorothy Johnston. Here. Pete Schultz.
Here.
Rod Charles.
Here.
Marie Powers.
Here.
Ashley Ross.
Here.
Catherine Colvin here. Grace Carey.
Here.
Bryce Clark.
Here. Okay, full board meeting tonight. Cool. Public comment on non-agenda items with a 3-minute limit. I see nobody here, so if we can move on to the consent agenda. So let's talk about 5A.
If there's no other corrections or additions, I move to approve tonight's proposed agenda.
Second.
Proposed by Mr. Schultz and seconded by Catherine. Conversation, discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And we're in, what, 5B here? Let's do it anyhow. 5B, approval of the meeting minutes for October 22nd. We have a approval of that. Mr. Schultz?
If there is no other corrections or additions, deletions, I make a motion to approve the October 2022 meeting minutes.
I second that movement.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we've included the police report and the code enforcement report, is my understanding.
Make a motion to receive and file.
Second.
Any discussion? Let's take a roll call on that one, if you would, please, Catherine.
Sure. Johnston.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Carey.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
And Colvin, yes.
Very good. Item number 6 on our agenda, financials, the financial statement and revenue expenditure reports, item 6A.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial statements and revenue expenditure reports, including paying the bills in the amount of $12,282.10.
Second.
Discussion, please? Any discussion? Let's take a roll call, please, Catherine.
Sure. Johnston. Yes. Schultz.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Carey.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
And Colvin, yes.
Okay, next on our agenda, let's take a look at, I'm sorry, Pete, you included the bills in that, did you?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so 7, Executive Director's Report, if she's warmed up by now
Warmed
after
up.
the bridge ceremony.
I'm warmed up. All right, you guys.
What's your fill us in where you were hanging around?
Yeah, so the chamber did a wonderful job tonight at their bridge lighting ceremony. So that was with Excel, who we utilize for our downtown lights, and they switched to the warm white lights to try to match what we did. And I don't know about you guys, but the warm white lights downtown, I'm like, oh, this is what it's supposed to look like. So it looked really, really nice. NES hosted it at their place for us, so it was really a beautiful ceremony tonight. And so now I'm warm, but we had a busy month. We had Visit Detroit here, toured Oxford and Lake Orion. They did a great job of gathering content, and we rode them around on the trolley, introduced them to some of the business owners. They will send reporters back out to follow up with some of those businesses to create more content that they can then share. So their goal is to put these mini itineraries together. So visit Oxford, visit Lake Orion, and these are the things that you can do. So their team, they brought out 8 people, and they were just fantastic. We actually, I feel like, made friends with a couple of them, and they want to come back out to Oxford. All 8 of them had never been to Oxford or Lake Orion in the past, so it was cool to introduce them to our towns. We hosted the Business Forward open house with Lake Orion down at their place, introduced them to Isaac Wolf, who's our business consultant, and to the program overall. We had businesses from all the areas, not just Oxford and Lake Orion, but there was Pontiac, Clarkson, Royal Oak. They were all able to attend. So some of the follow-up on that is Business Forward will now hire specific clients, client services is what they're calling it, but anybody from like attorneys to different business planners that will be able to meet with businesses, and Business Forward will take on most of the cost for businesses to meet with them. And this not just our district, it's our district, it's the whole town of Oxford. It can be at-home based businesses. So they're really a great service that most people can utilize in the area. And they've reached out to quite a few of our businesses already. So we're working through that with them.
Can I just interject
Go
before
ahead,
the web
yeah.
item? How would they potentially help somebody like Bryce? What would be a potential?
Yeah, so Bryce, if you reached out to Isaac, or I can do an introduction, but they would sit down with you and you'd fill out kind of just a business questionnaire, how they would get to know your business, and then they would just have the conversation with you. Okay, what are your needs? Are you trying to rent your place in downtown Oxford? How can we help? What does your website look like? Do you have a social media presence? So they would just go through that, and I call it more of like a business coaching, and get to know your business and then see, okay, are there any holes that we can help fill in there? So it's a really neat service. A couple of them that they've met with are from our farmers market that have potential to maybe rent a space one day and want to grow their business. So I see it as economic development for us, that some of these businesses might grow into brick and mortar locations and then, could be here in downtown. November 17th, we had a great time decorating. We had the Loft program, we had Kira and Charles come out, and it was a fun day. We decorated downtown, we did Christmas trees on the corners, we did swags in some of the boxes. I had to come back this weekend and finish because we had a lot to do, but we did the big Christmas tree in the gazebo, presents underneath. And then we prepped everything for the greenhouse, which I'm hoping to get a couple more volunteers to help us build this weekend. That will host Santa and Santa Pictures during our winter markets. So everything is coming together. And the music stayed on with the lights. So amen to that this year. We had a little hiccup because the music played really late on, I think it was Saturday night. And what happened is when they put on the lights on the poles, they did not realize that they leave those on all day now. And so it triggered our system to stay on as well. So I had to go back in and reset the system. So we're buttoned up now, but we had a couple not such happy residents around 10 o'clock that Grace and I got to have some calls with some folks, but we're all set now.
To that point though, with the lights are on, the music comes on automatically? Or?
No, it doesn't, but what they're doing is they're leaving the poles on all day now, and I think what happened is just when it switched, it took the cloud cover service that I put in the timing, and it just erased my normal schedule. So I don't know when they hooked up the lights, if that would have triggered it, but I had to go back in and reset it. So I went to the museum Saturday, but the cloud cover I had to reset. So now it's all finished and it's done. I tested it today from 4:30 to 6:30. They turned on, no problem. They shut off, no problem. So we're in good shape now.
Would Kimberly know how to do that when you're out of town?
She does know how. So she has the logins to both, and then she can always call James. James can log in remotely as well.
Maybe we'll put Grace on that too.
Poor Grace, no. Be over here.
With the lighting today, actually I noticed it last night when I came home, and then today with it being on, are they coming back to readjust? Because from one end of town to the other, you got at least a dozen of the poles that are out.
Yeah, so Mickey touched base with Don today, and it's just a quick reset. So Don knows that he's aware he's sending his guys out tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Let's see, so busy weeks ahead. Okay, so we have Small Business Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, a lot that Oakland County is doing. It's mostly social, but we did distribute a lot of small business swag to businesses. We have more to do this week. Soup and Sweet Stroll coming up on December 2nd. We've 780 tickets we've sold so far. That was the count this afternoon that we checked. I anticipate no problem selling out the 1,200, just because they sold out that last week. That's when the most sold last year. We are going to hold 80 tickets back, give them, that's the way we're gonna try to get some more volunteers. So we're gonna give them to volunteers. We're providing DPW with them since they'll be out doing the burn barrels, some of the police officers, and then any of the board members that want to volunteer, like, we'll be happy to provide you guys with tickets as well. So we're holding that 80 back, but it's still the same amount of money that's coming in because we only decided to sell 1,200 anyways. So we're not taking a hit on any of that.
How are you advertising that?
Yeah, so we are advertising on Facebook. You'll see a Oxford Leader ad on Wednesday that advertises Soup and Sweet and the holiday markets. And then Bryce is going to help me place some targeted Facebook ads this week. We're just trying to get him the login, having a hard time connecting like the Meta account, but he's going to help me with that. But honestly, we built a page for Soup and Sweet last year on Facebook. So we've just been building that audience all year. So now we're just utilizing that platform and it's going really well. We also have it up on our new website. So if you guys looked at the website, it's also up there. So we're doing great.
Do we know where most of the customers come from?
So I'll be honest with you, a lot of the names I even recognized on the guest list already. It's a lot of Oxford residents. I think that this is a very local event. It's funny, the December 2nd, 3rd weekend, I feel like most places are doing their tree lighting or their parade. So there's a lot of local events. So I think we'll have some Lake Orion folks, but I think it's going to be a lot of Oxford centric. But we do capture their, I think, email. I'm not sure if address is on there, but we can always send out like a follow-up after and say, hey, are you from Oxford? Or if we wanted the data.
That's not, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
But I know on the Eventbrite, you can take a look at the geography of where you're playing from.
Okay, I'll have to look it up. Local Hop is they're really good. So I'll have to, and we have a consultant, Courtney, through there, so I can ask her too.
Just going back to Witches Night, which I thought was a pretty successful event. I think that would be one to definitely bring in more people from outside this local community.
Yeah, it's funny. So Witches Night, you promote and promote and promote, and then we had all those people show up. But I have to say, like, I love having the tickets beforehand, knowing that many people are already coming, because I feel like it takes so much anxiety off me because I know that they're coming, they've paid, and they're going to be there, which I would love to see. And I've seen different events do this in the past, but there's a way to just do like a free ticket. You just have to sign in, you have to register. Yes. I would love to see us maybe do that for Witches Night next year and for some of these other events, just to get a better count so that we know, so that that's even helpful for sponsorships, I think, in the future.
Yeah.
Running the trolley in the parade for Oxford and Lake Orion, Doug Nowaker, who is, his daughter's a very good friend of mine for the last 30 years. He was Mike at NODA, if you know Mike over at NODA who manages everything. He was that a couple years ago, and we were chatting and he's like, man, I would love to come help decorate the trolley and help you guys. I was like, that would be great. So his wife is the one who paints all the beautiful windows in downtown, one of the artists. So they're going to come on Monday, a week from today, and do the decorating. And I was talking with Mickey from Excel tonight, and he's like, we use magnet lights on the bridge. He goes, what if we use that on the outside of the trolley to light it up for the Lake Orion parade? So then Mickey's like, I'm going to donate the lights, and he's coming on Monday. So I think it's really going to be cool. So I'm going to order a banner that has like our DDA logo. So when we run it in the parade, people know who we are. And again, if any of your kiddos or if you guys would love to ride with us, that'd be fun.
Are we all doing that?
What's that?
Riding in the trolley for the lighted parade?
We gonna be hanging out the windows? I mean,
We're gonna be hanging. Is there another way to do it?
Well, I mean, if you want to be seen, I don't know. Throw some-
We're just gonna strap Rod to the top and call it a day.
Right in the hood.
I'll be there. All right, Bryce.
Maybe just the Oxford one in the morning, right? We can do that one, or at 1. We're running our first holiday market on the 4th, so that's a busy weekend. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, we'll have to be here, but I think it's great. We have a full market, so we have to cut off vendors, and we're getting more emails every day, and we had to say no and start turning people away, which breaks my heart, but like, it's a full space. We can't do any more in that space, so, turning people away kills me. Molly and I spoke at the MDA conference this past month, and it went fantastic. I was kind of nervous about speaking for 45 minutes, but it went by so fast, and people were very receptive to it, and were asking, how do we do this? But they made a couple of people raise their hands from all over the state, the directors, and were like, this is a big personality thing. They're like, you don't see two towns work together because executive directors just don't want to. And I'm like, well, we had no choice because we needed to, but it was just neat to see people really fascinated with the fact that the towns could come together, which I thought was really cool. And we won for our partnership that big marketing award. So that was out of the entire state, and there were only 3 awards at the entire conference. So yay for everybody. I thought that was awesome.
How many people were at the conference, Kelly?
About 100, and there were DDA directors from, like all the way south border, Michigan, all the way UP directors, which was really neat to kind of chat with them and see. And they were asking about our Witches Night. Some of them had followed it online, and they're like, okay, how are you getting this many women out? So, yeah, I know. We met with a couple potential business owners with the MEDC from the state. I actually have another call tomorrow night with a potential business owner that is looking at here in the Williams Art Glass building, who's also interested in working with the MEDC. So we have 3 potentials that are going to that building right now, and Karen was in this week, and we were chatting through. So I feel really good about that building moving forward, as well as the party shop. So our friend Les Thomas, we met with the state. He is working through that workbook now, working with the owners, trying to get a purchase agreement in place, and hopefully we have a sold party store soon. So it is the 4 to 6 month process to get the funding from the state, but I feel like, hey, as long as we're moving towards the finish line, that's a big deal.
And that was a big thing that at the meeting, that he mentioned that he was interested, but it is a 6-month process.
Yeah. It's, if you look through this workbook, it is detailed and it's a lot.
Well, if we could control the schedule, it'd be nice to have this go on at the same time we do the T-Mobile grant.
Yes.
on there.
Well, and that's the other part of it, is because a portion of the money that MEDC can provide, we could put in the back there. And our thought process would be, we could use the T-Mobile grant to match what that MEDC would give us, or that would be what we would, say, hey, we're already doing this project, can you help us expand it out further?
I was just wondering, so there's multiple programs through MEDC for
Yes.
expanded rehab, and is this one of the programs that also includes creating affordable housing or attainable housing in the upper floors of the
Yes,
building?
so Les is looking to go up on the building, but they are going through the structure process right now to see if that's even possible and how much that would cost. I did talk with the two different folks that are interested in the Williams Art Glass building. I asked them if they would be willing to go up, and they said the same thing. If structurally it would be possible, then they would also like to. There's also a building on the north side of town, which they don't want me to give a ton of information yet, but they're also looking to put in lofts and go up. And then another one coming down the pipeline as well. Yeah.
The conversation I had was that they weren't sure that the buildings could support a second
That's true,
floor.
yes. But they are willing to try if it's possible. They would like to. Just some of the events that we went to, attended a ribbon cutting for Oakland Corners. They're wonderful partners in the community already. Tonight's bridge lighting, and then tomorrow we'll be at SEMCOG all day. And I had a great meeting with Oakland County, with their economic team as part of my rogue committee, and asked them for $5 million. So that was interesting. I've never had to ask for $5 million before, but that follow-up is tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes and keep pushing.
Art money, Pete's familiar with it, but it's money that's been given for COVID relief technically. I know Mr. Medore's familiar with it too, but at a high level. Many communities are looking for ways to use the money that have significant amounts too, so.
Yep. And we also had the trolley breakdown on Friday night, just quick update. The steps fell again, the turn signal stopped working, the bell froze. And so the driver called me Friday night around 7:30, and I just said, just take it back to the garage. I was like, let's not run it tomorrow. We put communication out on Facebook because we really want to preserve it for Small Business Saturday, and then once our markets start. Got with Molly that night. We found a mechanic to come early Saturday morning. Lorraine met her out there, fixed everything. God bless him. And so the trolley's back up and running, but we're not going to run it until Small Business Saturday in order to just like give it a break. They parked it inside the garage, let it have a minute.
On that
It's old.
topic,
It's old.
on the famous trolley topic, the idea there that, as Kelly knows, we were in a conversation about possibly purchasing it. But originally it was purchased with federal funds, which creates another level of bureaucracy.
I know.
We'll see where that goes. Hasn't gone very far yet, but at least we talked with a couple of decision makers on this. We've glacial progress. I don't know what it would cost, but then the issue too is repairs.
But the guy knows the Lake Orion DDA well, and he only charged them $150.
You don't mechanic?
The mechanic, I believe.
No, I'm talking about the purchasing people, the process.
Oh, the purchasing?
Yeah, the
Well,
process there to purchase it would be,
I
it's
just
an
don't
auction
want to do out for
process.
bid.
Pardon?
That's the problem. If it goes out for bid or if it goes out to auction, like they were talking about, it makes me fearful that we would lose it. And as much as I want to purchase it, I'm scared that then do we lose it altogether?
It could happen. I just know that they would give us first choice.
Yeah.
Look at
Because
that.
somebody who doesn't know how poorly sometimes it runs might, bid way more than us. We know what we put into it,
Well, maybe when it's auctioned out, we can remind them when they create their advertising that it frequently breaks down.
Yeah, right. I'll be like side conversation.
Seriously.
I know, I hear you.
If you were buying it, you'd want to know that
Yeah,
regardless. right?
yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Organization committee report, Mr. Schultz.
Yes, we met, we got the test results back from the engineering company on the northeast lot, which we're looking at putting a reconstruction project together for next year. And in essence, it was bad news that a lot of the underground soils in quite a few of the areas were not sustainable to be able to hold the parking lot. That's why they continue to break up. Even though we're already talking about a complete removal of all the asphalt and regrading, some of the soils can't compact enough, whatever, to support it. So it means we're gonna have to probably excavate some soils in some areas, bring in some crushed limestone, whatever, to put a base underneath it and do that. So we're already looking at adding an additional 30 grand or more probably to our budget to try to project, going forward on that. So there's gonna take some dealing, whatever, to get, around the budget to make it work and, what funds we have available, what Kelly can procure for us. The planters had all been switched out downtown. They were all replaced at no cost to us. Everything was, the plant material was all moved and everything, so it worked out really good. We moved on from there to, it's that time of the year again for the director's evaluation. So the org committee looking to choose a evaluation form, and then we'll be moving forward on evaluation and recommendation going into next year on that. And we still have our TIF plan that needs to be done by 2024.
If I may add, if someone has ideas for compensation, that please let myself and Mr. Schultz know, what any thoughts you have in that regard. I told Kelly earlier that I've made a few phone calls, and executive directors, there's a wide range, just like you mentioned with the committee, of how people, not just how much money someone paid, but how. Some directors are paid on an hourly basis. Some are paid as independent contractors. I was surprised. I mentioned I called Farmington and Farmington Hills and talked with them and a few others. So there's a real wide range out there. Okay, EV committee.
Yes,
Ashley?
feels like forever ago.
We continued with meeting in new spaces. So we went to the Defined Cafe, which hasn't opened up yet, but it's just, let's see, what road? Mechanic Street? Yes, Mechanic Street right over there. Met with the owner, Andrea, explained the concept of the building. It's really neat, a nice space for, especially for people that work remotely or people that don't have a home office, or if you have the option. It's kind of a work share space. You can rent out meeting rooms, you can be a member, and so I think for a membership, you get free coffee every time you come for like $9 a month or something and use some of the space. And then it goes up from there depending on what your needs are. But it was really neat just to meet with her and say, you know, what do we have available? I know especially over the past 2 years, we've had a lot of phone calls where, you know, where can I go? What can I do? Type thing. And so now we kind of have a space that is available for that. I'm not sure their exact opening date, but it sounded very soon.
Soon, yeah.
The focus of outside of meeting with the new business owner was really trying to figure out, starting thinking about 2023 goals. And so we want to start putting some tangible goals in place at our December meeting so that starting in January, we can start working towards them. And it can include things like purchasing a trolley, should our goals for grant making do? Right now, we've kind of just been like, oh, this sounds like it could apply, or we have this idea over here, maybe be a little bit more thoughtful on it moving forward. And then figuring out where to start for next year. Kind of just a real baseline, like let's wrap up this year, see what happened and what do we want to do moving forward, because we moved a lot of things this past year.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Do you want to talk about maybe the GM grant?
Yes, if you want me to.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to be applying for another grant with General Motors. It is a national grant opportunity. It is for placemaking. And so what we're thinking right now, it's small, it's $25,000, I say small, relative to the grants that we've been working on. So it's kind of limiting on what you can actually do with placemaking with this. So we are partnering with Oxford Virtual Academy, as well as like the Oxford Marketplace space there, as well as kind of like a gateway pilot project to start coming up with some visual cues to tie the whole DDA district together. So part of it, we have the lights and we have the sign, but maybe making the sign more of a feature focal point or stopping space, benches. Some of the planters, either purchasing more planters or using some of the ones that, you know, we took off because we got the new ones, but are still in okay shape, putting it there in the marketplace and the entire strip. There's no places to sit outside. I mean, I think we've all seen there's been a good investment in that area, whether it's the new barbecue place or the new food, the new paint, everything down there. But whether it's with students or with patrons, there's nowhere for them to like sit and interact and do more, or get a taco from Apache and, you know, sit outside, because there's nothing there. So we're looking at purchasing benches, maybe some seating, and then doing some stuff inside with OVA as well. So it is GM, so it's kind of focused on, you know, automotive engineering. So we're going to be able to present, yes, this is our community works at GM, but we're also raising the next generation of employees for you. So we have lists of what the students are doing. And a lot of the furniture in OVA, depending on which space you're in, it came from Goodwill 2 doors down. You know, it's not fancy. They've tried to do their best to make it a little bit more welcoming for the students that are taking all of these engineering, CAD courses, etc. And then they also have a community room that we're putting into the grant that I know, I think Fire's used their community room before, right?
We did testing there once.
Okay. So they said that there's other partners that can come in and use their big conference space. So it's just a big blank room like this to maybe get another mural in there to liven it up, and another opportunity or space for the community to use as well. It will be more limited because it is inside a school, but there are opportunities to use it as a space. So we're applying for that at the end of this month.
They also have a back space that literally just walks out to parking lot. And Ashley and I had to take separate tours because I was out of town for the MDA conference. So I went in last week and met with them. And their inside space, they've had so many students, now start taking classes there, meeting with teachers there, or they've just gone completely online, that it's just cluttered. Like, there needs to be more, and they have no outdoor space. So when these kids want to go get fresh air, they literally are walking out the back door to a parking lot. And it's just like,
The parking lot is generous. It is.
I mean, yeah, it's in rough shape. It's in rough shape.
Well, the question I would have is how long are they gonna remain there because the district
It's-
purchased the other
It's at
property?
least a few more years.
It's at least, yes.
Yeah.
And
I had the conversation with them this past
Yeah,
week.
because otherwise it's just money down the drain.
Yes, and I asked them too, and I wouldn't even say it's money off the drain, because when they do leave, new tenants would come in, and right now, whatever we do in those spaces is only going to be more beneficial, whether OVA's there or not, to be more attractive. So all the things that we're doing, okay, maybe a mural would be painted over, but the rest of the stuff is still eligible to stay. I do think the back of the building, that is, I mean, $25,000 isn't gonna touch it. It's not. So it could be a starting point for us to see, okay, let's pilot, soft launch some of this. We've talked about branching outside of our main 4 quadrants. What are we going to do next? I mean, if we get it, we might not. It's very competitive. I know Oakland County is applying for it as well. I'm certain that other,
And they're asking us to help write that grant, so, I mean, we'll just do both, it's fine.
I'll write.
We could be successful.
So, the other thing too is I look at it almost like a Washington Square project, where I don't think it needs to be this, it can be simple things. So, Rod, good point that they're moving, but if we do something with some movable furniture back there, do they take that with them to the next place? I don't think that it's
That's
necessarily.
school, that's their area, that's not how much.
We did, I think we both had the same conversation though. They're not going to be moving in their understanding for years at
Yeah.
this point. Yes, they own the property, but there's some other things happening that are taking precedent right now.
I'm all for it, I just.
It was the same question I had.
It was plenty of money though.
Yes, so,
Dorothy?
So I guess I would have a question, this placemaking, would that fall under like having chargers for said GM electric cars put in town? I mean, is that the same sort of thing?
that's not what they're looking for
Not
for
what
this.
they're looking for, but Village is putting the chargers in the quads. Now, nothing down that area, correct?
No, I was gonna bring it up a little bit later,
Okay,
Because, good, you're gonna bring it up later on then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's go
So
ahead.
they have parameters then on what this project needs to be? is
Yeah.
that what you're speaking?
yeah,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
Grace?
I was just gonna say, this sounds like it'd be a good opportunity to start thinking more about the placemaking of that entire space.
Yeah.
It's been getting used a little differently recently. I've noticed there's been a food truck hanging out, and it's been kind of awkward to get to. I walk down there a lot, and the food truck is like parked right
In
up
the front?
against- Yeah, like
Yeah.
6 feet of grass and then the sidewalk, and there's not easy access to
Yeah.
them. And thinking about somewhere to sit, I think would also be
Yes.
beneficial for those transient businesses as well.
So next time you're down there, look behind where Harvesters was and where the new barbecue place is, because I envision the side area that goes back to then the large strip mall building. I envision that as being kind of like a seating space or something in the front there. It could have a food truck there or whatever that looks like. Because it would be away from traffic. It's kind of in between the buildings and it has some green space. So just check that out next time and see what you think.
Is that food truck used very much, Grace?
It's only been out there for what, like a month now?
Yeah, I
It's
just
really-
keep seeing it,
I
yeah.
mean, I drive by, just never see anybody there.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
had a
it's-
coffee there before.
Is it
Just walking
vegan?
by.
Is that right?
Yeah, they have like vegan food options. They also have like a full coffee menu.
Okay.
So
I think you make a great point. So it's really going to be, especially with Economic Vitality Committee, we were looking at what's next, where do we go? We have all these other things moving forward or in place that we're trying to do, but it's not just the 4 quadrants. So we kind of said, where are we going to start first? If we get this grant, we're going to start there first. If we don't, what do we look at? Do we pursue things for this space or what makes sense? I think we kind of are following the money, but I do think gateways on both sides, especially after our tour, needs some love.
You're right. Okay, so promotion committee report, we don't have a chairperson yet.
Oh, we do, and his name is Bryce.
Well, the bylaws, it can be interim, bylaws require 6 months being a board member.
Okay, well, can he give the report tonight? I
We'll
feel
let
like
him
he's
do
ready. Okay.
Yes. Did you read the bylaws there? Oh, I'm so
No,
disappointed.
obviously, no, I have no idea what's in.
Catherine, would you write that down, please? Sorry, Bryce.
That's all right. So I was able to be on my first promo committee meeting. Most of this was already covered by Kelly in her report.
Sorry.
That's all right. Making it easy for me. A couple other things. We're having Santa, right?
Yeah.
And the Grinch appearance,
Yep.
as well as strolling carolers with Ava Swiss for the tree lighting, which sounds pretty awesome.
Yes, and our famous Pete Schultz will be like the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll bring you the Santa.
Can you hold the flag and like the...
Can I tell you what we were looking up today? Some kind of like cool switch where you can like switch it and it's like a, you know.
You realize that the game
Christmas light fight. Have you guys seen that show on TV ever? The Great Christmas Light Fight? Yeah, and they do the big cool switches and it like lights up and I'm like, we have to do that.
Since you brought up Chief Schultz, he is also going to be at Thursday's game. If you want to fill some what you're doing at the game Thursday?
Cheering,
Cheering, and what else? Come on, don't limit yourself.
eating.
What's next, Ricky?
Be drinking too. I just started, but I sit down in the fourth row, that if you do drink, it's a long ways back up. So I don't when I go to the games.
Well, tell us about the flag ceremony, if you don't mind.
I'm going to help hold the American flag at the beginning of the game, so.
I'll be there cheering for Pete.
That's right.
How's that? My wife will be coaching, by the way.
Okay, good.
She always does.
Keep going, Bryce.
That's about it.
Is that it?
You covered it. Holiday markets full, Small Business Saturday coming on up, and decorating downtown sounds like it went great. Sorry I couldn't make it.
Yeah, it
I
was.
tried to calm my walk down there, but apparently it was during lunch break, so
Yeah.
I had to
it
walk
was.
back because I had to get back to work.
They had to warm up for a minute. It was really cold that
Yeah,
day.
it was.
It was cold.
Everybody out there was troopers.
Yeah. And coming up, what we have too, I think this will fall before the next promo committee. Loft program is coming back in and they're gonna do, because we're gonna do letters to Santa, because we had that awesome mailbox out there from the chamber and from the police station. So we're gonna do, we have like North Pole stamps to stamp like 500 envelopes. And then we have really cool like address your letter to Santa for the kids, because we got that sponsored this year. And then we have 4 different craft stations in all the quadrants so that families can go into businesses and warm up and do crafts that we got all sponsored. And then we have a s'more station that we had sponsored. I'm trying to think what else was on that list, but it's quite a list of things to do. And the schools are all participating in the caroling. So we have high school, middle school, and elementary coming out for the gazebo. Which
That alone is an impressive achievement.
yeah, for sure. And then I'm just trying to find a Cindy Lou Who to be with the Grinch. So if y'all know a Cindy Lou Who, let me know.
So Bryce, how do you feel you're doing your first committee meeting now?
It was good. It was good to meet everybody, and yeah, great.
Thank you.
So I just want to inform you, I saw something really cool on a site visit I was doing for work recently, and I sent it to Kelly and Kim.
So cool.
But now that I know that you are involved with promo committee, I'll send it to you as well. But over in Brighton, their DDA has been getting these brick wrap decals for signage for their events. It looks very nice, looks like a painted mural up on the wall. And it seems like something we might be able to utilize the side of that red building at Washington Square, if we could get the building owner maybe on board with it.
They're very easy to work with. I think they would be just fine.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a really good spot, at least when you're coming southbound
Yeah.
on 24. I'll send everyone the pictures of it, but they're DPW, so they're very easy to put up and take down. We might need to wait till the spring because there's some cool weather issues with putting them up, but it looks really nice. It's a really good way to have.
I thought for sure it was
people
painted when you sent it to me. I mean, it looks like a mural. It was so cool.
Would that be something we could use on a certain yellow building?
Yep. Just saying.
Yeah, it's damage free.
Yep.
Let me ask our esteemed guest here, or which is open?
Yeah,
What's the village rule regarding advertising on the side of a building?
Murals cannot depict a message or advertising of a business.
Yeah, so
You can't have on the side of a brewery or something, you can't have beer mugs and stuff like that. Scenery, something generic, not depicting a message.
But if I had a plumbing shop, I could put a beer.
Perhaps so. Well, it's still depicting a message, so it gets a little dicey.
So these
What
ones,
message are you?
these ones were specifically for their DDA events. So they have their holiday stroll coming up in Brighton, and it would be something like us putting a soup and sweet with just the event dates and if there were any sponsors on it.
I feel like as long as it's not one of those feathered flags, you'll be okay, right, Joe?
Maybe. Again, you could also do temporary signs, banners, but those are pretty small. Those are like 30 square feet. You're talking something bigger.
I can show you the pictures afterwards. They looked very, very classy. I think it looked a lot nicer than a vinyl banner just hanging outside. But yeah, just purely for their community events downtown and kind of show some sponsorship.
But I would even be interested in the cost compared to an actual mural. So if some areas wanted to do something smaller, but more so just wanted to try it out and not commit to like paint on their building or some of the more historic buildings that we don't want to do that to, I would be interested to see the costs on these and see what that looks like.
Which I did get the information of the company
Yeah.
that did that as well.
Yes. Thank you for sending that.
Okay. Anything else regarding promotions? Thanks again, Bryce. Design committee,
I'm going to have to let Kelly handle this. We had some miscommunication
Yes.
problems.
Yep. So Nicolette was very busy at her store, and she didn't think I could be there, so she canceled the meeting, and I was like, no, I'll rearrange my schedule because I knew that we had to get it in because I couldn't let this company wait another month for their signage approval. So we ended up doing it over Zoom. It was very short, and we're about to go over that application, so I'd rather just leave it for new business if that's okay.
any comments about that? Okay, unfinished old business. Item 8A, that would be our executive director again, if you're not too freaked out.
Yeah, website update. So we launched it. We're still backfilling with some of the older information. So we want, some of the agendas and meeting minutes from the past couple of years. And we're working with Oakland County to make sure that everything's uploaded on the site that we legally need to have on there because our stuff is coming up. What is it?
Financials.
Yeah, our financials and things like that, because we are, February, I think, for our annual review. So just to make sure we're taken care of, but I don't know if you could check it out or if you did, but it's so much easier to use. And it's funny because I think because it is easier to use, we already have people signing up to volunteer and fill out the form on the bottom. And I'm like, this has never happened, even though that was on the old website. So it's been really great so far. Once we make sure that more of the information is on there, then we'll push it out publicly. So now the company is working on the brochure that we've talked about. They have it all set up. So it's a beautiful map of the downtown with all the locations broken up by retail to restaurants and to service businesses. And then we'll be able to put that on the trolley and in the village, and we'll update that once a year. So they're almost done. So it was a longer process than I anticipated, but I was so pleased with the job that they did and how it turned out. I was like, this is great. So
One thing I wanted to add a couple times in feedback was, in marketing, one of the rules is consistency. Repeat. That might be something to use, the phrase that we use, to have that on the website instead of a new phrase.
okay,
Just here again, that consistency.
yeah.
But I like it too. I showed it to a number of people. I had positive feedback.
Yep. Now I'm going to talk the village into going there.
Well, we spent a lot of money on that.
I know.
Okay, any other comments about our website? Hope you've had a chance to take a look at it.
Just that it looks fantastic so far.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, new business, sign grant applications.
So Paramount is coming into the old smoke shop. They've done a great job redoing that. That's trademark that applied for those grants. And now they finally have a business coming in, their roofing business. This is their second location. I chatted with them, really nice people. Their other locations in Romeo. They're excited to be a part of the community. They are gonna have to go through planning commission. I don't think that they did yet. Did you see this one come through?
No, when I saw it last week, there was some issues with their application because the architectural features, it kind of runs afoul of the ordinance covering architectural features, even though it's a new building. They were got to stay within the beams, the new beams looks beautiful. There is a provision where they can ask for a special waiver, signed waiver. It's not a variance, but they go to the planning commission and that's what they're opting to do. I talked to the building owner today and he was signing off to let them go to the planning commission in December. It's public hearing, we have to have the information off to the paper Wednesday to allow them to sign to be a little bit larger than the center opening, so it'll be on top of those beams. It'll work better. Square foot wise, they're fine. It's just a matter of the ordinance doesn't allow to cover up windowsills, lintels, those kind of old historical structural architectural features. This is brand new facade, so it has the features, but they're not old historical ones, so we'll see how the planning commission decides whether to go or not. If they have to keep it within that small space, because he's put the nice gooseneck lamps there, but they're large, the base of them is kind of large, and it takes up a fair amount of that, each individual square. So it would be pretty small for them, and they're hoping to get permission to go a little larger, still within the confines of ordinance for square foot wise.
So it's up to the planning commission at this point, is what you're saying?
Yep, it was gonna go this past week for regular, but then I realized when I was overlooking at the building that the architectural features stick out away from the building and that there's an issue in the ordinance with that.
Do you know if they're gonna have their meeting? Because I know they frequently have to reschedule.
Well, that one was the only thing on from last week's meeting, so we did cancel because it didn't make any sense to go and ask for something that you can't have. So they decided to either, they could have went forward and shrunk down their requests and been approved that evening, but they don't want to. They want to take the extra effort to go to the special sign waiver to the planning commission, which again entails a public hearing, notice in the paper, so that, I think December 20th perhaps, meeting. Because it's like a 15-day notice, so. And in the meantime, they were hoping to have their signs up by the parade and all that stuff, but I said, well, you can put a 30 square foot temporary sign and banner, so they're gonna go that route probably for the window. So when they're in there, maybe soup and sweet and the parade and all that stuff, to at least get some exposure of their name, maybe hand out some.
Yeah, they're gonna do hot chocolate at the parade and be open, so I think that's why they want to push it through.
Yeah.
I put it on this agenda. I didn't want to hold them up once they go to planning commission, but of course, we would want the motion to say for approval from the village and the planning
Contingent
commission.
upon.
Yeah.
So at this point, you're looking for us to,
Approve the $1,500, which is not much of the chunk of signage because their signage is quite costly. But the $1,500 would be our max sign grant, but per the village and planning commission.
so does somebody want to introduce that as a resolution? Is that what you're looking for, Kelly?
Yep.
Okay, I'll move to approve a $1,500 sign grant for 17 South Washington contingent upon their getting approval from the planning commission.
I'll support.
So we have support. Let's have discussion, if you would, please. Any further discussion about this? And it's contingent upon the, any further discussion? Maureen?
Nope.
Okay, let's take a roll call, please, Catherine.
Clark,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Colvin, yes. Ross,
Yes.
Powers. Yes. Charles,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Okay, item number 10. Items moved, we didn't have any, but Mr. Medora indicated earlier he'd like to give us some pearls of wisdom.
I lost those on the way over here, but I will say, and Ashley wasn't there, but I did send an email out, notice, we have contracted with a state contracting out of Holly for 2 dual port EV vehicle charging locations. Right where you've done the newest mural on the monogramming place. Just on the east side of that, you'll see a tall electrical cabinet.
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear what the location again.
You know what the mural is, coming east in town on the monogram building?
Okay, all right. Embroidered.
So, yes, embroidered, there you go. Just to the east side of that, you'll see an electrical panel there. And so there's 2 spots that'll be real close to that electrical panel. That's where we're looking to draw the power from, right from that panel to those parking spaces for a dual port.
That's near where the telephone pole is in the park middle of the
Yes.
street? Okay.
No, that's way down farther. This is right next,
I'm
this is
just
right next
teasing
to
you.
it. So, and then the other one was on the southwest side, right here where the brick wall is on Hudson Street, the corner behind the pharmacy. There's also a power panel right there. So those first two spaces in the corner of the bricked in, I guess northwest corner of the parking lot would be the other two spaces for the dual port chargers. And the last feedback I got, they're working with DTE to make sure they may need another meter there, they may need some upgrades to the cabinet, should be fine. But if everything goes well with DTE, they're hoping to maybe have it installed by the end of the year.
Questions? So what did it cost?
Nothing to the village.
DT is covering it?
No, the contractors.
Contractor, which contractor?
State contracting? State contracting, they're out of Holly, they're over, I think their office is over near Mount Holly. And they put some in June, I believe, in downtown Holly. He brought a sample of the charging unit, the head and stuff that was here a couple months ago at our meeting. I think it was October meeting. And they just hope, I guess, there are some rebates that, I was surprised they were putting these in and they weren't even aware of the DTE rebates, which I found weird. It's about a $8,000 rebate. And so now they're working with DTE to obviously take advantage of those rebates if possible.
So they put them at no cost to the municipality.
Right.
And
We're gonna get like a half a cent per kilowatt hour or something like that. It's, for us, that's not about the money. They recoup their money over long term. DTE, if you use their grant, you must maintain them in good working order for a minimum of 5 years.
So the village is responsible for maintaining these
No, the contractor is.
contractors. But this is something for them, and maybe I should like kick in the village council. The contractor gets the rebate, that's their incentive for doing this?
Yeah, 'cause they might spend 30,
That's okay, I don't mind.
they might have 30,000 out of pocket and they might get 8,000 in rebate. So they're down to 22. And then over the years, they hope to recoup their money.
So are the charging stations monetized like you guys?
Yes.
Yes, so just like you would for gas.
There's some locations where I think to incentivize people switching to EV, they're putting up.
So there is a billing, like you said, putting a credit card in, they.
Yeah.
Can I want to-
It's tied into apps. So people have even apps, locations, stuff like that, and you be paid through the app.
Right.
So it's similar that you'll find.
Parking rates situation.
Yeah.
Because I know, I've been to some places where they have them, that's how they work it, but I know there's a couple I visited where they didn't have any charge, they were.
It's
were
funny.
Charging, no pun intended.
Last week I drove down to Troy, it's the Automation Alley headquarters, and it was a city manager's meeting down there. It was my first one in 5 years, so I figured I'd finally go. And we pull in, and there's charging stations right there, and there was a EV over here, wasn't even parked in it. I mean, I don't know if they just came to the meeting, they didn't need to or what, but I just thought it was kind of odd.
Well, Orion Township has a number of them by their municipal building, you know, and I know, I'm curious about this art money that the township has. The township got $2.1 million, and I recommended early on that the township look into doing the EVs, but no action has been taken. And I'm trying to get them to do that, but I'm really excited about this.
Well, it was kind of we got lucky. Those people stumbled across me and my email. We'd already been talking with another DG Energy who has worked in this process with DTE. And yes, they can help us do the rebate, but again, we would put out $16,000 for a dual port and get the $4,000 back, and then we would facilitate the payments. And we would, I'm like,
Yep.
these people walked in and said, we'll do it all, and there's no upfront cost. And they've already
Occasionally
done.
you'll get a half cent.
Yeah, okay, if we get a check for $20 a month.
That's okay. I just, here, like a passing the trustee of the township, you know, how could the township do this? But it sounds like going to be more in a busier area potentially, because the township is limited to township property, which means, I would think,
Yeah,
the, maybe Seymour Lake Park or even Township Hall, which they might
Yeah, I
say
mean-
there's not enough traffic.
right. Otherwise, you're talking like Myers and them, they would do it on their own, for their own benefit and their cost, right?
Have at it, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great, I like the whole thing.
And those areas lend themselves to a easy, less disruption to the parking lot, things like that. Yes, it would be nice to have two more, another dual pump in the northeast and a dual pump in the northwest also, but this is step one.
Sure, yeah, don't get worse than that. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and we'll see. if it
Nice seeing you, John.
Pardon?
I said, good job on the email. That you said attracted their interest.
Oh, gotcha. Yes.
So other comments about that? Anything, John? Okay, guess we're down to board member comments. Oh my gosh, 54-minute meeting. Makes you hang around for a while to get talking. Let's start with Bryce.
Just thankful for the warm welcome to the board as well as the promo committee last week. And meeting everyone was great. And the website also looks great, even the mobile version, which is very important. I did do a lot of website optimization in the past life, and it looks awesome. It's really easy to use. There's not too much information, but just enough and the right stuff, it seems like. So.
And thank you to Dorothy for all that beautiful photos,
Oh,
because that was awesome, and I really felt like that made the whole site come together, so thank you.
thank you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No?
I thought we would have scared you with promo committee too, by the way. I was like, is he gonna show up tonight?
I think she's picking on you, Bryce.
Well,
You know,
The nicest of
promo
ways.
committee and others. All right.
No comments tonight.
What?
You know.
I'm so disappointed. No comments at all? Let me interrupt that.
Oh,
Chris?
yep, I just want to put a thank you out there to all of our volunteers who showed up for the decorating. It looks wonderful. And yeah, just good luck to everyone who's going to be involved in the upcoming events. I think this is going to be a really, really great opportunity for us being able to do the winter markets and really utilizing that Washington Square space throughout the entire year.
Okay, Dorothy, I'll skip Rod.
Is there a quick update on Wegel?
Quick is the.
Mr. Medora.
Please, the answer.
Yeah,
Mr. Medora, you're up again.
No.
so, Village Council was recorded the other night. I recommend you go back and watch
Yeah, that would be
it.
a much better.
Okay.
There's a much longer
Do we
answer.
have
in the
any
recording.
forward momentum at all?
So.
Oh, yes.
We have a plan, we're working on it, Bob Davis and Joe. We're gonna move it forward. Mr. Reckel agreed to show up to the remainder of the village council meetings until the project is completed, to give updates.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we're not at the spot that we want to, but I feel like we're pushing him a little harder now, so,
Pulling.
yeah, pulling.
Anything else, Dorothy?
Thanks for everything. You're doing a great job. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Everything. It's awesome. We're
Ray?
glad.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for the weekend of the 12th. We've got a lot going on, so, yeah. No, just thanks to everyone for the continued hard work. Lots of forward progress, for sure.
Catherine?
Great work. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good holiday. Watch repeat.
Yeah. Sounds good. Hi, Thanksgiving.
Now I have a reason to watch the
I
game.
don't know, before the game.
Oh, before the game, okay.
Wish everybody happy Thanksgiving. There's a lot coming up in the holidays, which is really nice. With the Super and Sweet, the tree lighting, the downtown shopping, the market, the entire thing is really nice. Looking forward to all that. Everybody, take part in it, the small downtown shopping and everything. It's great to get everybody out there for it. Just looking for the holidays. The fire department will be out next weekend. No, this weekend, we'll be out Saturday and potentially Sunday doing our collecting for our annual Shop with the Heroes thing. So we'll be out holding up traffic, collecting money from everybody. So that'll be this weekend. That's it.
Well, thanks, Joe. Thanks for coming, Bob. I appreciate your input.
And I'll just follow up right to comment before you get to you, because I know you're best last, right? A lot going on. I'm always here to help Kelly, Don. There's a lot going on. We got the chamber parade we're working on, and Pete, and we met out with the sheriff's department on the detours of the parade. Kelly asked today about some more rum barrels for her markets, and Don said, yep, we just, keep plugging away. There's a lot going on, a lot of people helping on all sides. It's great. And this is the fullest I've seen the DDA board in quite some time. There's one more empty seat.
I have a candidate.
Oh, which I have 2 applications coming to you guys next month, so
But, yeah.
maybe 3,
It's good to see a full.
so, yeah.
Yeah. But what I was beginning to say is thanks, Joe, for calling. I appreciate the, And then the Christmas party too that the DDA is having with the village council and our esteemed friends here too. As a reminder, please let Kelly know that you are coming. And if I say spouse or significant other, whatever we want to call each other. Okay? That's important, if you can do that, right?
Yes, please. I've heard from some of you, but we have right now 15 coming for sure, but hoping to get a couple more. And we're gonna turn the trolley into a party bus from 9 to 11 at night. It's gonna be great if it's running.
If necessary, drop you off at your house.
I just feel like that would be a lot of fun to go visit our friends in Lake Orion, right?
I know where he lives. Never mind, zip it.
Oh, okay.
So the Christmas party, please, yeah, let Kelly know about that so we can make the appropriate plans, right? Or Marie too, I guess, making plans. And then tomorrow we've got a meeting, Kelly, Kimberly, myself, we're going down 9 to what, 2:45?
Yep.
A long meeting, but it's, what's it titled? I can't remember.
So it's SEMCOG, but Main Street is the subject. So it really has a lot to do with us, and I'm excited about it. I think that it's going to be great, not only to get in front of some other folks at Upland County, but just to learn as much as we can and just have that group together. I think it's going to be a great meeting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I enjoy about my capacity with the township, is I have an opportunity to learn about these things that I think helps the entire community, whether it's township or village, working together kind of thing. I enjoy that. Last thing I'll say is this: I really appreciate having this board here. This seems like a pretty good board. It seems like we work together pretty collegially. Is that a word? Okay, collegially then. But I think it's pretty good that we were able to do that. There's times that it hasn't been that positive, so I really know the difference. So thank you everyone for all the things here. All right. To that end, the meeting of the Oxford Downtown Development Authority.